All right. What is good, YouTube? This your boy Aaron.
It's Brian.
This is the Courtside View Podcast, and we are back today to discuss the NFL, reacting to Week 18, and then we're going to also talk about the NFL playoffs for a little bit, and then we're also going to give you guys Brian's salute segment. We're bringing it back for the final week of the regular season, and yeah, that's about it. So without further ado, and also we're going to also talk about the firings that have been going around for coaches, and also some of the coaches and GMs that were able to escape from being fired. So without further ado, let's get down to business. We got to talk about the biggest game, honestly, of the regular season. That was the Vikings versus Lions. And I got to say this, and then I'll let you go, Brian, because you picked the Lions in this matchup. Sometimes you just have to throw logic out the window, because in many cases, division game, a team that has your number, you just got to throw logic out the window. It doesn't matter that they're missing a bunch of guys on defense. It doesn't matter that they're a bunch of guys that are on IR. They're missing a lot of significant talent. They're missing one of their most important offensive players in David Montgomery. As long as the coaching is there, the quarterback is there, the talent from the offensive side of the ball, and then you have the coaching, chances are it doesn't really matter, because if you have that team's number and they're in your division, chances are you know how to beat them. And that's what the Lions did yet again. What didn't surprise me wasn't that the Lions won. It was how they won, in the fashion that they won. 31-9. I thought it would be more of a close game. I thought it would be a lot competitive, considering the Vikings and the Lions have the same record. They only have 2 losses. I'm expecting a very competitive game. And what the Lions did against the Vikings was very shocking. They were able to run the ball very effectively. Jahmyr Gibbs had himself a day. He had over 130 yards rushing, and he had 3 touchdowns. I didn't see that coming, because the Vikings are a great run-stopping defense. I was just shell-shocked at what I saw. Brian, what was your thoughts on the Vikings versus Lions game, a game that you predicted the outcome of in terms of the Lions winning?
First things first. I didn't expect this to be the Lions to just run away with it after a certain point. I thought that we was gonna have a defensive type game, because I think at the half the score was 10-3 or 10-6, something like that. So I
Yes.
was like, oh, this is gonna be one of them low scoring games, and all of a sudden, second half kicks off, and then the Lions just they just take off, and the Vikings couldn't keep up. But what I noticed is that the concerns we had about the Vikings being Sam Darnold really showed and stood out Sunday, because there was plenty of plays, especially in the red zone, where he literally just didn't see guys. I can think of 2 examples. It was 2 plays, and they were kind of similar. One was a pick play to Jordan Addison. He was running a slant. He was wide open. He was staring in his direction too. So I'm like, what is he looking at? Why didn't he throw the ball? He was literally wide open. Yeah, Kirby Joseph was kind of there, but he wasn't gonna make a play on that ball. That ball would have been, he should have threw that ball with anticipation. It would have been an easy touchdown. Then there was another one before that. I think in the first half of the game, before halftime, I think Jordan Addison was open again on a pick play but this time it was an out. It would have been an easy touchdown. He was looking in that. I was like, what is going on here? It's like he started seeing ghosts again, like he was back in New York. And that's one of the problems I had with the Vikings, is that, yeah, they have a good team, great coach and stuff, but you need to do that QB. And Jared Goff, he just did what he had to do. Yeah, I think he threw. Did he throw interception that game?
No, he had 0 interceptions, but he was 18 for 41 passing.
Ooh. Jared Goff didn't even have that great of a game, in my opinion. But I mean, hey, he did what he had to do. You know, Sam Darnold, he just, when the moment was too big for him, in my opinion. And and going into the playoffs, when it's good on good, and dudes have to step up, I'm not sure Sam Darnold's going to be the QB to step up for him in a moment like that. We've seen it. And honestly, does this game change your opinion on whether you're keeping Darnold or anything like that?
I have
Are
to
you like
see
are you like
playoffs.
okay, you see the playoffs? Okay.
I'm a playoff guy. Thing could always change. Again, this is a division rival. Division rivalries are a lot different than any other team that you're going to face in the NFL. So maybe it's just the Lions know him the best. They've been game planning him the entire season, and at this moment, he just shrunk, and they were able to capitalize on a lot of his mishaps. I will say, you talked about some plays that he left on the field in terms of like not seeing the field well. There was also throws that he missed. There was throws that he was making the right read. He just missed a couple of times to Justin Jefferson in the red zone where it would have just changed the outcome of the game. He just missed. And that was very disappointing for me because Sam Darnold has been tremendous this year. He's had an amazing year. And for him to miss the easy throws in the red zone was very disappointing. I expected more from him, and they just couldn't get anything going. I don't think they had a touchdown this game. It was all field goals. 9 points against a depleted Lions defense. You're just not going to win that way. And the Lions defense, the Vikings defense, they tried the first half, only giving up 10 points. They tried, but you can only do so much against a Ben Johnson led offense. Ben Johnson is just a wizard. He is just somebody that it is very hard to game plan against an offense where he is the coordinator and he is calling the plays, because I haven't seen something like this in a very long time, since maybe Kansas City when they had Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Brady in a couple of years. It's been a minute since I've seen an offense, no matter what defensive coordinator is calling the plays, calling the defense, no matter what personnel they have, this offense just seems to have the answers every single time. It's one of the best offense I've seen in the past 10 years. They are that good. Jared Goff has just improved significantly ever since he was with the Rams with Sean McVay. He wasn't great this game, like you said, but he still made enough plays to get his team to win. They scored over 30. Shoot, you score over 30, it don't matter that you threw 2 picks. 30 points is 30 points. And they just won. They dominated. He was 27 for 33, which is an amazing just completion percentage right there. Those 2 interceptions weren't great, but 27 for 23 and getting in the end zone with Jahmyr Gibbs 3 times is going to help you a lot. And that defense, they did their thing, even though they didn't have all the guys. But no, I can't say enough about Dan Campbell and the coaching. They have a outstanding coaching staff with Aaron Glenn, with Ben Johnson and Dan Campbell leading the way. Like those guys, man, they really coach these dudes to a T. They never give up. They never feel like their backs are against the wall. They never feel like they should lose and back down. It always feels like they're always confident in what they're doing. Next man mentality. A lot of the cliche football terminology seems to exist with this team, and it's working right now. And Dan Campbell has motivated this team. They're the number 1 seed. They have a bye week, so now they can rest even more. They can get guys healthier. It just seems like a team that is destined for greatness, even though they're missing a lot of their key dudes on defense. I don't know what else to say. It baffles me how good they are, how disciplined they are, and how laser focused they are. It's amazing to see for a franchise that I never would have thought in a million years would be in this position after what I've seen with Matthew Stafford, Calvin Johnson, and all those boys in the previous years. It's truly astonishing to see, to say the least.
When you get your dudes in the coaching room and you draft well, you reap the fruits of your labor. So
And they
get the
took their
ones.
time. They took their
Mm-hmm.
time. They didn't abandon ship after 1 year like what we see with all these other franchises and these coaches. They took their time. They developed their players. They knew it was going to be a process. Dan Campbell's first year, it wasn't good. They won only like 4 games. It wasn't all that great, but they continue to improve. They continue to give them time. And eventually, now they're one of the better coach teams in the NFL. They're one of the more talented teams in the NFL. They're one of the more clutch teams in the NFL. And this game showed itself why they should be considered the favorites coming out of the NFC, even with all the injuries, because
Yeah,
they are that good.
yeah, pretty much. I also want to salute Dan Campbell for believing in his guys. Obviously, they got rid of some coaches, but let's not forget 2 years ago that Aaron Glenn defense was looking like, ugh. People was like, maybe we should get rid of this guy. Maybe he's not in the defense. But now let's Dan Campbell. I give him probably he stuck with him, stuck by him, and he allowed the talent to come and really establish a culture on that defense, an identity. And now they're overperforming even with all the injuries they're facing. They lose Aiden Hutchinson, and they arguably didn't really drop off super significantly. So
Mm-hmm.
you got to give him props for that. And obviously Ben Johnson was always good, but yeah, man, it's just that's an all-star coach. All of them, well, Ben Johnson and Glenn are going to be up for head coaching roles after this season. So got to salute to Dan Campbell and the GM for the Lions. Who would have thought a team 10 years ago? If you would have said 10 years, man, yeah, man, the Lions how many? They lost 2 games this year.
Yeah, 2 games.
Only they went 15-2, and it got a playoff bye. And they're the favorites to go to the Super Bowl. They would have slapped you.
I would have been like, damn, Matthew Stafford finally got over the hump. Word, they finally put a team around him. That's what's up. But yeah, man, it's truly amazing what we're seeing. It's unfortunate for me because I'm a Packers fan, but I they deserve it. They did their thing. They did what they were supposed to do. They trust the process, and now they're reaping the benefits of what they've done. And it's still more football to be played. It's still not done yet, but they have the number 1 seed. Aaron Glenn, you mentioned it before. I'll say this about Aaron Glenn. They're a team, they're a defense just situationally. They're not the greatest defense, but situationally, they just get it done. They just know, hey, you're in the red zone, you need a stop, they get a stop. You need to get a stop on third down, they get that stop when you need them. Like just situationally in the clutch. They seem to figure out a way to get the job done. And that's all you need. That's all you want for your defensive coordinator. Reminds me of,
Yeah.
I remember the Bengals years ago with Lou Anarumo. He got fired recently. But I remember the Bengals were similar in the same way in the fact that just situationally, they weren't the greatest defense. But in certain situations in the game where you need your defense to make a play, they made it. The same thing with the Lions. And even without the talent, they get it done. And that's what you want for your defense.
And you know what? And like I said, they may not be the most talented unit on defense, especially after all this injury. But let me tell you what, them boys hustle. You do not have to question the effort of any of them players on defense or offensively for that matter. And that's just uh what's the word I'm looking for?
That's just effort. That's
No,
just
yeah,
pride.
well, it's a something. I can't find a word. Oh man, this is embarrassing. That's just the highlight of the culture that they made over there in Detroit. That them dudes go out there no matter what the depth chart says, they go out there and compete. They play hard, and they don't just give sorry effort out there. And that's what you really want to. That's really what you want to establish as a head coach and look for in a head coach.
Mm,
I do want
yeah.
to bring up. There's a narrative going around. I've been seeing this a lot. A few people. I don't know if it's copium or not. A few people believe Ben Johnson will not be a good head coach.
Hmm.
And I know I could kind of understand because all offensive coordinators aren't meant to be head coaches. You should just You could call plays and run an offense, but you got to be a leader of men at the end of the day. But it's not like he just came out of nowhere. Like, I think he honestly, truthfully believe he stayed that extra year to really see how it's really done. How do you lead a locker room? How do you deal with certain players' personalities and stuff like that? I honestly think he took that extra year to learn behind a coach like Dan Campbell, even though he's new as a head coach himself, but he's better than I'd say 90% of the league in that regard. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't believe that. I don't believe Ben Johnson would just be a bad head coach.
Well, I'll say this about Ben Johnson. He has unlocked Jared Goff in more ways that Sean McVay couldn't even do. So that should say a lot, because remember, Sean McVay traded Jared Goff thinking like, oh, he's done. We can't get any better with him. Well, yeah, you got Matthew Stafford, and he's a top 6 quarterback in my opinion, and he's going to be a Hall of Famer one of these days, and he's a champion. But what Ben Johnson has done with Jared Goff, who got kicked to the curb by his former head coach, is outstanding. And whoever is able to hire Ben Johnson, a young quarterback that they have on their squad, would behoove them to get Ben Johnson so he could develop that quarterback. Whoever that may be, a Trevor Lawrence, a Caleb Williams. Although you could still question, well, can he be a leader of men? Can he lead a locker room? Who knows? I really can't say that. I really don't know. Like, he could be another Mike McDaniels, maybe, where he comes in, just pretty football, but not very tough, doesn't situationally get it done. But with this team, there's nothing pretty. Well, there is a lot pretty about it, but they're also a very physical football team. And I feel like part of that is because of Ben Johnson's teaching and tutelage. So I believe it can manifest itself on another team, and that's why he's demanding a lot. He demanded a lot of money last year, and he's probably going to demand a lot of money in incentives this year, which he should. Which he should. He has a lot of leverage in this situation.
Not mess this up. It's literally right there. He literally is only taking 2 interviews I heard, which is the Patriots and the Bears. So if the Bears somehow mess this up, then Ryan Poles,
he needs to go.
Yeah.
I don't care that you're a black man. You need to go. Hey man, we gotta be fair.
Yeah.
You've been screwing up lately.
Yeah.
They praised you initially because you traded the number 1 pick, and next year you got Caleb Williams. All right, but what happened to Caleb Williams? What happened to Matt Eberflus? What happened to all those offensive coordinators? You fired them mid-season. Caleb Williams hasn't taken a significant leap like some of the other rookies. So he's on the clock. And whoever he brings in, he better be that guy. He better be that coach that can
it didn't even make sense. You kept the head coach but fired the OC. Like, what? I don't understand.
Incompetence, man.
If you
That's the Bears.
That was crazy to me. You fired both coordinators but kept the head coach.
Speaking of coaches and firing, there has been a bunch of firings, a bunch of just other stuff in terms of retaining coaches. So the big news that came out today, Antonio Pierce, no surprise, he was let go by the Raiders. He will not be the coach anymore. This wasn't surprising at the very least. We kind of knew that the writing was on the wall. Just your reaction to the news of Antonio Pierce being let go after 1 season.
Hey, man, I mean, look at that roster. I mean, the man didn't even have a QB, for crying out loud. And honestly, what, they won 4 games this year? 4 or 5 games or something like that? Honestly, I didn't expect them to even win that many. I mean, it's his first year literally being ahead. Like, he was interim last year. The players, the locker room loved him. They vouched for him, and they wanted him to really be the head coach for this year. And then you didn't give him no piece of work. Yeah, you still had Devontae Adams. You traded him mid-season. You had Aiden O'Connell out there playing QB. Like, come on, man. Like, what are we really doing here? Freaking Zamir White was your RB1. That's that. Like, come on now. He was doomed from the start. Like, honestly, everyone saw the writing on the wall. He was doomed. He was cooked from the start. these now they giving these daggone coaches the QB treatment. If you ain't good within the first 2 years, you out of here. And I'm just like, man, I mean, what do you expect them to do?
They're scapegoats. A lot of them are black coaches. It's not no coincidence at all. They say DEI hire. They say all this stuff about, oh, we're going to give this black coach an opportunity just to make us look good. And then after a year, you let him go. Steve Wilkes, they let him go after 1 year. Antonio Pierce, they let him go after 1 year. Gerard Mayo, they let him go after 1 year.
They did Gerard Mayo dirty. They gave him nothing to work with. Besides Drake May.
Check this out. After they let Gerard Mayo go, the owner Robert Kraft,
yeah.
he made a statement like, I didn't put him in the right situation to succeed. Then why fire him in the first place? You're gonna say that after you fire him? What are you talking about? Like, you just gonna one of them dudes? He's one of them dudes that'll smile in your face and then afterwards make a snake move. Like, he's one of those dudes. Like, he's not gonna like do what he needs to do at your face. Like, he's gonna do it behind your back.
And we all know who they're gonna bring in to be the next head coach.
Mike Vrabel.
So the optics look even crazier.
Because
who said Mike Vrabel was elite?
Right. They're treating him like he's an elite coach. He was a fantastic coach for his time in Tennessee, but eventually it started to dwindle. And the team started to get exposed a lot more. That offense was starting to get really, really bad in Tennessee, and they were losing games. That's why A.J. Brown was like, I got to get the hell out of here. So, yeah, man, like, it's just so much stuff going around with the NFL and some of these coaching hirings, getting fired after 1 year, not having a real plan in place and expecting it to stick. What do you expect is going to happen? It's just a recycle of coaches 1 year and then out. That's just dysfunction. That's how you lose every single year, is by doing stuff like that. The Raiders, now the Patriots, all these different teams, they just continue to repeat the same old cycle and expecting something different to happen. That's just insanity at this point. And I have no sympathy for them.
Also, the Seahawks fired Ryan Grubb. He was the first year offensive coordinator for them. I mean, he wasn't terrible.
No, he wasn't.
Like, he wasn't bad in my opinion. I know they stalled a lot in the red zone, but Geno threw a lot of interceptions in the red zone. Like, let's not forget that Geno was definitely part of the problem this year. The offense not being as tip top as they can. He got Jackson Smith and Jigba a lot of opportunities. DK, I mean, he couldn't catch. Like, seriously, like he doesn't play as big as he should be. And obviously, yes.
You know who DK remind me of? You know who DK remind me of? He is Zion Williamson of the NFL. A lot of potential, has so many gifts, so much talent, but can never reach his potential.
That's actually that's decent. That's a decent comparison. But like I was saying, the running game obviously was putrid. They couldn't run the ball to say they like, but the offensive line was bad. Like, I don't know. I don't know what they expect from these coaches. Like, Ryan, I don't think he had a bad first year as a coordinator in the NFL. Like, I don't know. I don't feel like, I know they trying to win. Now, you won 10 games. I mean, it's I don't know.
I think situationally, I was reading a little something on Twitter. It may be Mike McDonald and Ryan Grubb like bump heads situationally when it comes to in the clutch, you're trying to win a game. He gets a little pass happy when Mike McDonald wants to run the clock out a little bit more. Bumping heads on that, maybe. There's probably games where he felt like they should have won if the play calling was a lot better, a little more how he wants to do things. I still felt like he got scapegoated at the end. I didn't think he was that dude in Chicago that got let go. I didn't think he was him when he was with the Seahawks last year. I felt like he just got scapegoated. I didn't think he did a bad job at all. He had Geno playing really, really well, and then all of a sudden Geno just started to play like poop for whatever reason. He started to turn the ball over a lot more. He started to make mistakes, and they still won a good number of games. And Jackson Smith-Njigba made a significant leap. Like he's one of the better receivers in the NFL right now. I don't understand why you just let that man go after one season. One season.
They should have fired the freaking O-line coach. That's who they should have been firing. Because them boys were blocking to save their life.
Right. The offense, I got to look at the numbers. Maybe the numbers say something different, but with some of the games that I've seen, it just felt like the offense was okay. But maybe I'm maybe because I wasn't watching a whole lot of Seahawks games. Maybe I have to look at some of the numbers because I wasn't watching a whole lot of Seahawks games, but I don't know, man. It just felt like he got scapegoated on that one. But, I'm a bit ignorant, so I could be wrong. Yeah, so let's get to talking about the playoffs, dude. The playoffs are here. It's gonna happen Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. The wild card. Any matchups you're interested in? Any matchup that stands out for you at this moment?
Oh yes, absolutely. Let me look up this playoff wild card. So in particular, honestly, a couple, maybe like two that I'm really like interested to see how it plays out. One being the Commanders and Buccaneers, because I like the Buccaneers in this game. Yeah, it's literally week one rematch. Also, your Packers and Eagles week one rematch. Yeah, but I mean, I like the Buccaneers. That defense is still a question mark, and it'll be a good game. It'll be a good game. Tampa Bay, they got the 3 points because they're the home favorite, so they honestly think this is a coin toss type of game. But I would probably go with the experience. Baker Mayfield is honestly a really underrated playoff performer. In the 4 games he's played, I believe he has 10 touchdowns, about 2 or 3 interceptions, and almost 1,200 yards. I mean, that's pretty solid. And 2 of those games came when he was on the Browns. And last year, he had that great game against the Eagles. Then they played the Lions, and that game was close as well. So it's not like Baker Mayfield is he's ready for these type of moments. And the question is Jaden Daniels ready for these type of moments? Although he's been showing up game after game for this whole year in clutch moments. Jaden Daniels, he delivered. But I'm really interested to see how this matchup plays. It's really kind of offense on offense because both of the defenses are kind of like, they could be exposed at times. So I think the matchup to watch would be Mike Evans versus whoever they try to put over him over there, because you try to put Mike Sarenstein short behind on Mike Evans, it's going to be Moss City all game. So
better have Marshawn Lattimore ready.
Yeah.
The hamstring better hear up.
If Lattimore don't play, it might be looking dark for him.
It's over.
Yeah, and also if you were the Commanders, you got to stop the run. Bucky Irvin will run. He will run all over you if you allow him. And the Commanders haven't been great against the run. We saw what Bijan Robinson did to them a couple weeks back. Rico Dowdle and Deuce Vaughn was going crazy on them. So I mean, if they know number one priority needs to be stop the run, because last thing you want is Bucky Irvin getting 2 touchdowns and a buck 50 on you. So that could snowball quickly. And I want to say I like the Packers and Eagles matchup because I'm pretty sure Jalen Hurts is going to play.
Yeah, I think.
But if he doesn't,
stop it.
That gets very interesting. Although the backup QBs haven't been playing bad, but it's a little different when it's the playoffs. And Jordan, and I know y'all lost Christian Watson, y'all best receiving deep threat for the season due to ACL injury. So a lot of everybody's counting y'all out, but I don't think the Eagles are world beaters like everybody else do. I think they can be got in one of these playoff games. I'm gonna be honest with you, but it ain't gonna be by the Packers. I tell you that much. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong.
Yeah. I mean, we're It'll be great if my Packers are able to get upset. But yeah, I like the pick for the Commanders and Buccaneers. That is a very intriguing matchup, especially what happened week 1 and how Jaden Daniels looked. His tape was god awful, and now he's a totally different quarterback. Seeing just the transformation, seeing some of the mistakes being just rectified in this game. It's going to be great to see how he corrects a lot of those mistakes. But for me, the most interesting matchup, in my opinion, is the Vikings versus Rams, that Monday night game. And it's because if you remember Thursday Night Football, the Rams beat the Vikings.
Yep.
It was a close game.
The Rams were home that game too, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And the Rams are healthy. Rams are healthier. Now, no Blake Corum, but they still have Kyron Williams. That's all that matters. And the Rams, they have been playing great ball as of late, and they played well against the Vikings. And the Rams are also a tough out against the Lions. So I like this game. Two high-powered offenses. Yeah, the Rams secondary is terrible. They really only are good at front four with their defensive line. But this should be a very fun matchup to see with Matthew Stafford, with Sean McVay, Kevin O'Connell, Brian Flores calling the defense. It's just a lot to be excited for in that matchup. And I'm really excited to see, can the Rams get the upset? Can the Vikings continue the momentum they had before they lost to the Lions? I'm very intrigued to see how the Vikings bounce back from that tough loss versus the Lions, because that was just an ugly loss. And with the Rams, can they play upset in this matchup at home? That's going to be exciting.
That's going to be good. That's going to be a good game too. I also want to say this Broncos and Bills game. I'm not too invested in this one because I think the Bills win, but 8.5 seems kind of high in my opinion.
Is it really? Are you sure?
What?
Are you sure? A rookie quarterback that's been struggling as of late, that lost to the Bengals, got swept by the Chargers. I mean, I kind of see. I feel like this is going to be a blowout.
It very well could be. I don't know. I'm gonna have to see.
I think they've overachieved tremendously, but this is where the buck stops.
Oh yeah. A lot of these games seem pretty cut and dry for the most part, outside of two matchups, in my opinion. Like the Ravens and Steelers. The Steelers fell off a cliff. Mike Tomlin did the Mike Tomlin thing, get 10 wins and then
Make the
screw off
playoffs
for the rest of the year. Like, great coach though, but man, it's every time they get 10 wins, they just fall off a cliff. It's honestly kind of weird. But Ravens should beat the brakes off these dudes. But that 9.5, because we live in the area and we know what's supposed to happen Saturday night.
Oh yeah, it's supposed to snow. I don't know if it's going to continue to snow by then, but if it does, especially in Baltimore. Baltimore a lot colder too.
Yeah, right by that water.
Oh man, you do make a great point, because them Ravens receivers, what do? They drop passes, and when it gets cold, what happens? Receivers tend to drop passes even more. So you make a great point. You never know. Zay Flowers, if he's healthy, I said this in the group chat, but he might cost them in the playoffs. Rashad Bateman, he might cost them in the playoffs. So you make a great point.
Now, luckily, the model has went down to only projecting about 2 or 3 inches of snow.
Okay.
And it's supposed to like the afternoon. So maybe they don't get affected by the snow pretty much at all. But you just may never know with this weather in this area. So yeah. I still expect Ravens to win regardless. I just think they're just a better team. They got better dudes. The Steelers are collapsing at this point, and it's just sad to see. Chargers and Texans,
they've fallen off a cliff.
Yeah. It's just Bobby Slowick. He's just not the guy, in my opinion. CJ Stroud has regressed. They can't run the ball to the best of their ability. Defense, they can only do so much. And the Chargers, they just been hot. The Chargers been on fire recently. Jim Harbaugh got these dudes ready to play. If Dan Campbell wasn't so phenomenal, I think Jim Harbaugh should win Coach of the Year or something like that, or Kevin O'Connell. But because he really turned this Chargers team into something. They don't forget, they literally was picking top 5, 6 and got Joe Alt. Now they are a 11-win playoff team. Granted, I think Justin Herbert was hurt last year, but that's besides the point. They got them boys ready to play. Lad McConkey is great. Even Q, did you know QJ? He had like 180 yards last week.
Yeah,
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, defense is looking good. I think so. I believe if the Chargers win, I believe they play the Bills next round. I want to say
They're the 5th seed, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because the Texans are the 4th seed, so they would play the Texans more than likely. So, yeah,
They
you're
playing
right
the Texans
that.
now.
Yeah, I'm saying yeah.
Oh yeah,
because the
next round
Texans
they
are
would
the 4th seed. Texans are the 4th seed. Chargers are the 5th seed. So more than likely they would play the Bills, like you said. So you're right.
Okay. Well, they actually might not. They would be the lowest seed in the AFC to win. So I believe they would play the Chiefs. Well, GG's. It was a good season. You ain't beating Mahomes at Arrowhead.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. Yeah, they're not because if the Ravens if the Ravens win, they're the 3rd seed. They would play the Bills.
They would play the Bills.
You're correct. Yeah. You're correct about that. Man,
that's gonna be an interesting matchup.
Yeah.
Last time we got the Bills versus Ravens, that was in 2021.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
something like that. That was I remember that year too. All right, that was like finally Lamar got a playoff win from against the Tennessee Titans.
Against the Titans, yeah,
got his revenge, and then
they
lost to the Bills. Yeah. You know, they didn't have the better team that year. Bills did their thing. They did what they were supposed to do. I want to get to my Packers real quick.
Okay.
I pretty much already talked about a lot of the things on the little live stream I did yesterday, so go check that out. But just to sum up what I said in the previous live stream, that I'm done believing in this team. I have no faith in this team. Even if Jalen Hurts is out and Kenny Pickett is the quarterback, I'll probably pick the Eagles. I don't think this team is just built to beat a team like the Eagles, even with the backup QB, because I just think offensively and defensively, they're just too good that the Packers just won't be able to stop them. They won't be able to stop the run game. They won't be able to stop A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. It's just going to be too much for them. And then on the other side of the ball, defensively, with Cooper DeJean, with Quinyon Mitchell, with all those boys, Jalen Carter up the middle, I just don't think they're going to be able to protect Jordan Love enough. I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball with Josh Jacobs effectively. With all that being said, I'm just done with this team. And Matt LaFleur, I said this on the live stream, but I believe when you look at Kyle Shanahan, when you look at Kevin O'Connell, when you look at Sean McVay, and when you look at Matt LaFleur is the worst of the 4 Shanahan tree guys. And he's the worst play caller of the 4, in my opinion, because he does some things in a game situationally that I just scratch my head. Like on 4th down, he'll call a jet sweep when it's only 2 yards. He'll just do some things that you're just like, you're thinking too much. Just run the ball up the middle, QB sneak, just do some simple stuff. And it just seems like he just doesn't have it. He's a good coach in the regular season, but can I trust him in the playoffs? I just can't, because I haven't seen much. I will say he is coaching the youngest team in football, and last year he almost beat the 49ers if Jordan Love didn't turn the freaking ball over and didn't just, I don't know, forgot how to play football. I still don't believe in this team. I don't believe they're disciplined enough. I don't believe they have it up here from an IQ perspective to go up in Philadelphia and upset the Philadelphia Eagles. Because in order for you to upset the Philadelphia Eagles, one, you have to be a team that is disciplined. You have to be a team that situationally can just excel when it matters most. Red zone, making sure that you don't commit any penalties, making sure that you don't fumble the ball, making sure that you don't turn the ball over. It's just so many things that the Packers are going to need to do in order to beat the Philadelphia Eagles in Philadelphia. And I just think they can't do it. In that cold environment, with all those receivers be dropping passes left and right, Jaden Reed, Wicks, they're like the highest percentage in like drop rate. I just don't believe that they can go up in Philly and have the mental fortitude, the mental toughness to come out there and to play good football. I expect this game to be a blowout. I expect the Eagles to run like crazy against them, and I believe this is a blowout with Jalen Hurts at the helm. This is going to be a blowout. It's going to be ugly because I just think this team has mailed it in for the season. I don't believe that they believe that they can win this game. They'll say they believe, but I think in the back of the mind they know that they're not a Super Bowl contending team, and they're going to be done after this week, no matter if it's Jalen Hurts or if it's Kenny Pickett. And that's just how I look at it. If this was the Vikings with Kevin O'Connell, if this was the Rams, if this was the Lions, a different story. But we don't have a Dan Campbell. We don't have a Kevin O'Connell and a Brian Flores. We have a Matt LaFleur and a first-year defensive coordinator that did really well for us, but we don't have the personnel to match up with the Eagles, and that's all I'm going to say on that matter.
Mm. It's unfortunate for y'all. Y'all was y'all supposed to be one of them teams, man, coming into the year. People was expecting to be in the running for the NFC Championship type team, but it just hasn't worked out the way people thought it would, and it's just injuries, coaching, and all kind of stuff. So maybe next year you'll get it next year.
I think. Listen, we're still growing as a team. Hopefully, this off season we make significant moves. We did go after 2 huge free agent signings in Josh Jacobs and Xavier McKinney, but don't just sit back and be satisfied, be complacent. Now it's the time to be even more aggressive because you went from 9 wins the previous season, this season 11 wins. Now let's try to win the division next year because you went 1-5 in your division. 1-5. Tied for the worst record in Packers history for a division. So you have to do better next year. Hopefully this is a wake-up call for them to make significant changes because I said this on the live stream, but the wide receivers for this team is just not good enough. All the years of, hey, we're just going to draft a second-round receiver and they're going to become Devontae Adams, they're going to become Jordy Nelson. It seems like that's not the case anymore. You have to go after a first-round talent. You have to sign a talented receiver if you want to win big because look at all the contending teams besides Kansas City. They have great receivers. Vikings, great receivers. Lions, great receivers. San Francisco last year, great receivers. They have great offensive talent in the Packers. You can't just keep banking on 5th-round guys, undrafted guys, 2nd-round guys to win big. You just can't. And until they change the way that they evaluate these things, they're going to be stuck in 3rd best in the NFC North and not having a home field advantage in the playoffs. That's their ceiling.
I agree with you. I mean, when you look at all the teams in the playoffs, all of them at least have one dude. Like Commanders, they got Terry McLaurin. Eagles got AJ and Devonta Smith. Buccaneers got Mike Evans. Lions, Amon-Ra. Jameson Williams.
Rams, Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp.
Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp. On the AFC side, Chiefs are the only ones that kind of like, but D-Hop,
they got Patrick Mahomes.
They got Patrick Mahomes, but they also got D-Hop. So, and Travis Kelce, can't forget about him. And the Bills got Amari Cooper, even though he's his availability is there. But Khalil Shakir ain't no scrub either. Ravens got Zay Flowers,
Rashad Bateman. But
Chargers
the thing is,
got Lad McConkey. Like, those are solidified dudes.
The thing is that the Chiefs and the Ravens and the Bills, they don't have a talent on the level of an AJ Brown or Mike Evans, but guess what? You don't need that because Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and Patrick Mahomes are the three best QBs in the NFL by a wide margin, besides Joe Burrow, of course. Those are the three best QBs. Those are MVP caliber players. So you're not going to have to go after the great wide receivers. With Jordan Love, I say he's 10th on my QB rankings, but he's nowhere near those guys. Those guys are on a different stratosphere in terms of talent and ability. So you have to help Jordan Love out because he's not good enough to overcome and to put on the Superman cape.
I agree.
Yeah. All right. Without further ado, let's get to our salute segment. Brian, who do you want to salute for the final week of the regular season?
All right. Final week of the regular season. Why can't I find this game? Okay, there it is. All right, final games of the regular season. What a season, man! What a season! I missed the 70% goal by one game. One game was the difference between me finishing 70% on predictions this season. But we ain't talk about that. This is the salute segment. Week 18, we head into the playoffs. Will the salute segment continue into the playoffs? We don't know. It possibly will. First on the docket, we have a guy that people said couldn't do it. Quentin Johnston, 13 catches for 186 yards. Are you kidding me? No hands who? He had 14 targets. He caught 13 of them. Shoot, look like his hands worked pretty fine to me. Second on the salute segment, we got Jahmyr Gibbs. Prime time, Sunday night football, going against a 14-win Vikings team. He said, I got y'all. Let me put the backpack on. 139 yards on 22 carries, and not one, not two, three. That is a hat trick, people. And we ain't talking Ronaldo and Messi. Salute to Jahmyr Gibbs. And finally, it wouldn't be the salute list without him. He was one of the OG picks. We got to go with the old man still doing it, Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry going against the Cleveland Browns. Kind of a must-win game because the Steelers ain't played yet. He had 20 carries, 138 yards, and 2 touchdowns, ladies and gentlemen. That is the final salute segment of the regular season. Salute.
All right. That'll do it for the salute segment. We got to give an award for the salute king of the year. Maybe do that on Saturday. You decide who is the coveted salute king of the year.
You know what? I forgot a guy. I forgot. It was one dude, and I kind of feel bad for forgetting him. I know we only do 3, but I want to give this guy a shout out because he's overcome so much this season after being benched, being counted out. Bryce Young, man, destroying the hearts of all the Atlanta Falcons fans out there with the spectacular performance. 34 attempts, 25 completions, 251 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Bryce Young showing much improvement over this past year. Salute to Bryce Young, man.
Damn. Man. He was swerving on that corner. Whoa. Yo. Got put on that Lonzo Ball after that performance. LiAngelo Ball.
What?
Man.
Good song, too. I ain't expect it to be that catchy.
Yeah, he was actually rapping on that song.
Yeah. I've been singing it all day.
Man.
It's too catchy.
I was listening to my man's Screwface. Mm-hmm. He was reacting to the song. Yeah. He was very impressed. He was like, "Oh, he actually rapping on this joint."
Yeah,
man.
He got another one coming out too.
I know.
And that joint sound alright. They're like, "Hold on, LiAngelo, you might have found your lane."
Yeah,
the ball might be 3 for 3.
Put the ball away and get the mic.
Right.
Get the pen.
Put down the basketball. Pick up a pen.
Pick up a pen and a mic. That's your future, dude. He's going to be performing on Rolling Loud.
They say you either rap or go to the NBA. he kind of doing both though. He Master P. He going the Master P route.
Yeah. Hey, he got what it takes. He just got to be consistent. All right, man. Is there anything else we need to talk about before we get out of here?
We could talk about college. It's going to be a playoff game by the time I think Notre Dame plays on Thursday.
Yeah. Let me check.
We could just touch on that real quick. Yeah, because Penn State, Notre Dame play Thursday. Oh, Friday, Ohio State and Texas.
Right. I'm gonna go Ohio State on that matchup. I don't trust Texas. Notre Dame versus Penn State. I'm gonna go Penn State in that matchup. I just think they're too deep in terms of their talent level. The talent is just too much.
Defense.
Yeah, man. Abdul Carter.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Penn State. Abdul Carter's amazing. Drew Aller, he's been looking great as well. He'd arguably probably jumped to the number one QB on the board if he would declare this year, based on how the hype and what the scouts are saying. Ohio State, Texas. Honestly, Ohio State is favored about 5.5. I think it should be way higher than that. Because Texas, man, y'all was in double OT with Arizona State. And Arizona State, they didn't play. They got heart. I give them that.
They do.
They got heart. But Ohio, I think they're gonna run them off the field personally. Because man, they just got so much talent on Ohio State. Man. Texas, Quinn Ewers can't be trusted. I can't trust Quinn Ewers in this moment. I'm going Ohio State. Give me Penn State. Ohio State, Penn State. That would be some national championship.
Hey, yeah. that's a great matchup, especially if you're an NFL draft junkie. That's going to be great to evaluate.
That is good on good.
Abdul Carter, Drew Aller. You got dudes like Caleb Downs. They got some. Yeah.
Judkins and the other Travion. I think that's how you say his name.
Travion Henderson.
Yeah, Travion Henderson.
Got some dudes, man. Jeremiah Smith.
Emeka Egbuka.
Yeah. They got some talent, some names on those squads. Coaches that have been chewed up by the media saying they need to get it done. James Franklin and Ryan Day, the two coaches that are in the national championship game. It just seems poetic to me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. All right. That'll do it for another edition of the Courtside View Podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below, hit the notification bell, follow the socials as well. And also check out our other channel, our NBA channel as well. We post a lot of content on there. I just uploaded How to Save the NBA episode 5. And then the previous episode, I uploaded a full podcast. We reacted on Saturday of the NBA standings and some other things that we felt we needed to discuss as well. So check those videos out, and we will see you all this Saturday.
Yes.
Stay safe.
Yes.
Peace.
Oh, also salute to y'all, man. I think we gained like 41 subscribers this past week and a half or so.
It's like 28.
Oh, 28?
Yeah, it was like 28.
From
like one video. That's still a lot. Yeah.
Almost at 500.
Yeah, almost at 500. Appreciate it. All right, man. We'll see y'all later. Peace. Right.
Less than an hour.